Tcast.
Tcast. I am so worried about the supply chain. Can it handle the stress of COVID?
Can it handle?
Find out tonight at 8 p.m.
Yes, with retail.
Oh boy. So
Mom and pop retail's out of business. Amazon
flourishing.
Yeah.
No, hey, not bad. You and I are the same. We've been hanging out
It's
too
that
long.
consciousness shirt.
You're using the same
It's
words.
the real thing.
Yeah, it's not Coca-Cola, it's consciousness.
Right.
The barcodes.
Yes.
Who'd have thunk? Every time some people don't know this. If you want to institute a product, it has to have a barcode so that through some sort of point of sale system, it can be registered and tracked. So there's a leader in this market called GS1 US. Ridiculous name. But they institute.
Sounds so government.
Yeah. They institute a huge amount of barcodes. There's a couple vendors that you can do it through, but most products that you receive are, when you purchase your barcodes in a set of 100 or 10,000, whatever it might be, it's from them. They sell the blocks of it because the overall supply chain system, system is tracked by them. So here's what's interesting is that they found that
we need their data.
Yeah, their data is really interesting. Is that when we're looking at it, they've collected so much information on buying habits because when you use a barcode, it'll tell you if something was purchased online with its SKU or if it was purchased in store. And so they saw this huge transition because of COVID into online purchasing. And how big was the differential?
Yeah, this is an article. This is what it says. While consumers crammed as much as 8 years of spending growth into 1 month.
8 years.
According to the Shelby report.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1 month.
Yeah.
8 years of spending growth in 1 month. That's crazy. So imagine all these months that we've been in this COVID land.
Yeah. And so they're, all that online purchasing and everything, flourishing. Seriously, it's growing at rapid speeds. But GS1 US, they're coming in, the individual, the lady here who is responsible for looking at new technologies for GS1, they are trying to analyze just so much data that has come in through all this online purchasing and how there can be an efficient transition from mom and pop or in-store to online purchasing. But also, most stores have their shipping and fulfillment in store. But now you have to rely on other people to manage that shipping and fulfillment. So that SKU touches so many other places before it hits the end consumer. So they're looking at, from a supply chain standpoint and the data it's generating, let's look at the processes, the workflows, and how we can, change our strategies, become more efficient, and, adopt this new model of people doing almost all of their shopping online.
Yeah, and she said this in many ways, the COVID-19 pandemic has been the unexpected driver of digital transformation that has been top of mind among the retail industry for years. So the retail industry has been thinking, well, we need to move to online shopping. And I'm thinking of especially big purchases, whether you go to a jewelry store, whether you purchase an automobile or a home, all this, the real estate, the automotive, they're all looking at how can we do this online? People want to purchase big items online.
I'll give a personal example. So my fiance, I'm not trying to flex, it's just a funny French word. The design and everything and working with the jeweler was completely done online. The purchasing, everything. From videos, photos, design, the layouts, I did the entire thing online. I never went to New York. The big box retailers, they're reactive. Now they're like, wow, now we have to make that digital transformation. We've been saying, let's not spend. There's enough people coming into the store. That's gone. That's out the window right now. So it's like, we really need to make that transition towards this sort of online shopping experience and delivering the product or service to the people efficiently without them having to even leave their house.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see a huge shift as the population changes.
It's not even
millennials, for instance, you have Carvana now, website, you've heard of them, and there's others out there. But Carvana, you can purchase a used vehicle all online and it's shipped to your door.
Yeah, they literally drop it right off. And
and they have
can
pictures
use it for 90 days.
Yeah, and you can picture and you can zoom in and see if there's any issues, and they have it very detailed. So having that bad experience of going to an automobile dealership, is not there.
Yeah.
Or what people perceive as being there. But this
and
is
you know that better than anyone. You worked in the automobile industry for a long time.
Yeah. And that's something and we'll have to, I think it would be fun. We'll have to do a whole show on the auto industry.
I'll interview you on the auto industry.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting in what's going on. I mean, you have like True Car, another one that's just, all they're doing is surmassing. This is crazy. So let me ask you something.
Okay.
What if you could be a company that you could go into an automobile dealership and you could say, you're going to pay us for us to go into your DMS system. And for the 40, 50 years you've been in existence, we get to pull all your data out.
Oh, dealer
but
management?
You got to pay us.
Does that mean dealer
management?
management?
Yeah, dealer management. So
we'll go in, take all your data.
And we're going to use it to market to buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to pay us for taking your data.
Yeah, so that we can give you some sort of report back.
So we can give you a lead back, and we're going to charge you $300 for that lead.
That's insane.
And we're going to take your data.
That's, you know what that...
The lead should be free.
That's classic data companies. You see it with IBM, you see it with everybody. That's what they do. Even in pharmaceutical companies, they'll go in and they'll be like, here, we'll give you data back. We'll give you some sort of analysis back on the data you have that wasn't already giving you answers. You only pay $300 for something that wasn't giving you any answers in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we're going to make you compete with all the other dealerships.
With all the other people that we're doing the same thing with.
And we're going to see how low below invoice you could purchase the vehicle for.
It is so insane. They're just like, though it's so illogical. It blows my mind.
Yeah. So at the dealerships I work with, I'm like, you don't need to be giving your data to anyone. No. It's your data.
You take care of it. You own it.
Yep. So this is interesting. The exploration of collaboration opportunities to help businesses leverage emerging technologies. And these emerging technologies are the Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, and machine learning. And she said through this, when we look at the retail supply chain experience, as far as focusing on retail industry collaboration, people don't think about the collabs. We're seeing that with brands more and more and more. Mm-hmm. Where they're collaborating together and using their buying power together to improve inventory accuracy, exchanging standardized product data, and achieving source to store supply chain visibility.
Yeah, it's about sharing data back and forth.
Right.
And now they're starting to do that. So as more of these businesses become digitized, once they realize that they need to be online,
right?
That's where the shift is. Basic cause and effect. You could be blind and still see this. That this interaction of sharing and moving the data back and forth allows them to make effective decisions that make them more resilient as a business.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah, and if you're, we were talking earlier about somebody that sells books, that they should be on Amazon, and you're like, well, people, I mean, you weren't, but people would be like, why should they be on Amazon? Mm-hmm. Because that's your distribution center.
Yeah.
And you're tapping into if they're typing it, I guarantee you will sell more books.
Yeah, you're leveraging,
if you put it on Amazon.
You're leveraging the technology of Amazon.
Right.
And so what they're saying here, GS1 US is saying, is that these collab businesses are leveraging the technology that all of them have.
Right.
Is that not intelligent? Of course it is. That's how you should be doing it.
And COVID sparked this. Like, we know we should been doing this, but now we have to do it.
Now it's forced us to do it.
Yes, right.
And the companies that saw it ahead of time and made it,
yeah.
Those are the ones making the buku bucks right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that word means, buku. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, and I like this. She talks about, are we ready for checking in instead of checking out? She said, if COVID-19 pandemic taught us anything, it's that consumers are adaptable when they need to be. Shoppers who tried curbside pickup once or twice before are now super users. In fact, 85% of shoppers have significantly increased curbside pickup since the pandemic began.
Yeah, you know who did a good job with adopting this quickly because they're very technology driven is Walmart.
Yes.
Walmart did this way before COVID, and it's incredible.
Yes.
You put your thing in, the GPS tracks you, knows when you're in the parking lot, and it tells you that your thing's coming out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nuts. I never even got out of the car. I didn't have to go insane going into Walmart.
Right.
Which is the last thing I want to do.
Right, exactly. And I thought that it was interesting when they said the rapid digital transformation leads to even more opportunities to harness the power of data. And we should see an uptick in the use of AI, IoT, and machine learning to help process it.
She loves buzzwords.
Yeah. For example, a German-based startup called RapidTag utilized an IoT platform in combination with digital product tags. Versatile in their use, the digital product tags provide in-store analytics and enable the convenience of a cashierless shopping experience.
Yeah, so
with a built-in loss prevention tactic through the use of the smart tag.
Yeah, no, they it's like the big RFID scanners.
Right.
You walk in with your cart, it knows you're in there, you put the stuff in the cart, you walk out of the building,
right,
and it just charges your account.
Right, and the tag is released knowing
it's
that
ridiculous.
It claims with that.
That technology has been around for so long, 20 plus years, and only now they're like, oh, wait a minute, why we should start using it now. Where have you been?
Well, yeah, where?
Pay attention.
Yeah, this is
Japan was on top of this so long ago.
So long ago. Yeah.
Why is no one? They have some really cool technology over there, and they're pretty smart because they're such a big population in a small space. They're always thinking about how to make things more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you just apply that to a place with a lot of space? Then you're just like super efficient.
Yeah. No,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding. I read a really cool article, and I did some research on it. Was the guy that invented the cashier machine, and he invented receipts. Think about how that's, I mean, we still use paper receipts now.
Yeah.
But think about that invention of receipts.
You know, heat transferred paper?
Yeah.
Receipts don't print on ink. They do heat transfer. So actually, one of my family members created that. And he originally used it for weather mapping.
Oh, that makes sense.
What the heck?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? So it goes from something that you're doing for weather mapping and it transitions to stores and point of sale systems.
But I mean, think about it. The invention of the receipt.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's what blockchain is.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was getting into.
You know, we have all of our receipts verified by everybody in consistent chronological format right here.
Yeah. So the minute you walk into that Amazon store and it knows who you are and it's got your GPS, and you walk in there and you grab that gallon of oat milk.
Yeah.
And then it charges you.
Yeah.
When you walk out the door, it's very, very simple. And then it keeps a transaction and all of that on your orders.
Yeah. You know, why are you asking me if I want a receipt?
Well, I think rental cars did this. You know how you can walk now? You know, I've done that several times. You just walk right up to there. You get into a car.
Yeah, you do it with your phone. The app puts it against it, and they have a reader inside of the car, and it unlocks it.
Yeah, and unlocks it, and away you go. You don't even talk to anyone. You just get in the car and drive.
Zip cars.
Yeah.
They're way overpriced, but the model of it is cool.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out. We're resilient.
I mean, they're ahead of their time.
Yes, humanity is resilient.
They're using old technology to be ahead of their time. Is that a logical fallacy or what?
Yeah, and then I want to end in this. She said, what will it take to turn big data into good data?
The big data right now is completely observational, and we're going to hammer this again like we hammer it on every single episode. Mm-hmm. It's about being proactive in looking at the data as a human being creating that data.
Yeah, and she quoted Stephen Hawking. She said, once said, intelligence is the ability to adapt to change.
Yeah. Well, her whole article is talking about being reactive.
Yes. Now is
why would she give us a contradictory quote to the entire thing she wrote?
Well, I think she writes this. Now is the time to consider the new possibilities for data to derive maximum value when new layers of technology are applied.
Okay. It's not about data driving the maximum value. It's about connecting with the people that create that data to drive the maximum value.
Yes, 100%.
Why do they keep omitting people from the picture? She needs to wake up. I'm going to tell her right now. Bring her on the podcast. We got to talk to her. You're missing the grandest point of this entire thing. That no matter what, human beings are the cause for all.
Yes.
For all. Is it that hard to recognize?
It is. Humans are the reason for the cause. You're not in business if you don't have customers.
Oh my gosh, it's so
very,
simple.
very simple.
It just blows my mind. It makes me like twinge inside that people just don't see that.
And regardless of what industry you're in, you have a responsibility as a leader to put people first.
Yes, you do.
That's your responsibility.
Yeah. And you'll find great benefits emotionally, mentally, financially for doing so.
It's a win-win.
That is some goodwill that most companies' values. Have you gone on like a 10K? How they value their goodwill?
Yes.
Well, that's a strange thing to value, but that's where the money is. It's how people perceive you. And if you lack perception, then you don't really know anything. You're walking around blind in this world. Like those, you get your eyes dilated and you got the big black things on your eyes. You look like a fly. You know what I mean?
Because there's nothing that motivates you, especially when you're on your deathbed, than knowing that you had a black Excel sheet. You were in the black.
You shouldn't have brought up the deathbed comment. I think about my death all the time.
I know. Yeah, we did a podcast on that.
Not in a negative sense, but the fact that I can reflect on what it is that I want to do for the world. I don't want to say, "Oh, great, made tons of money." Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What did that do?
Right.
Jack. No, I can't take it with me. So do something valuable. And you got to start with people. The value is with people.
It is always with people.
And unlock that value at tartle.co.
Yes.
You unlock it. You take that big skeleton key, you drive it in that giant 30-foot wooden door in front of the Vatican, you crack that bad Larry open. You go right down to that Vatican library and you start pulling all the data out of there. Everything that the Pope didn't want to share, you just start yanking those books out. You know?
I need some Michelangelo paintings.
I need it all. I'm going to collect it all.
I just took everything away that wasn't David.
Oh, I love that quote. I love that quote.
It works for everything. If you want to be, if
How
you want to
good
sound
lines.
really, if you
Yeah.
want to sound really smart in a business, if you're in a meeting,
Yeah.
just give that story, and then say that line, and I guarantee you, people will be like, "That's so
really
right."
interesting. How come we apply that to a lot of stuff? What was it exactly? So just to do it before we close, here's the
Right.
story. The Pope goes in to meet with Michelangelo, and Michelangelo, he carved David.
Right.
Big, beautiful marble statue. This big naked body, curly hair, pondering. And the Pope asked Michelangelo, he's like, how did you create something like this? And he turns around to the Pope and he says, I just removed everything that wasn't David.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain it. Just think about it for a bit, but it's quite a beautiful statement.
I always use this one in marketing. It works really well too. If you're into marketing,
Yeah.
You can say, I like that idea, but let's just take that and reverse it. People are like, oh,
Wait a minute. Let's be
it's just reverse engineering something, but
Yeah, that's all we do all day long.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even.
So we just gave you some tips.
Yeah, there was a
for
tip.
your business meetings.
Free tip.
Yeah.
Free data coming your way. Analyze our transcript because we post them all.
TARTLE.co.
Yeah, TRTLE.co. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.